Tao of Jeet, page number 24. In combative arts, there's been the problem of ripening. This ripening is the progressive integration of the individual with his being, his essence. This is possible only through self-exploration and free expression, and not in imitative repetition of an imposed pattern of movement. There are styles that favor straight lines, then there are styles that favor curved lines and circles. Styles that cling to one partial aspect of combat are in bondage. Jeet Kune is a technique for acquiring liberty. It is a work of enlightenment. Art is never decoration or embellishment, a choice method, however exacting, fixes its practitioners in a pattern. Combat is never fixed and is changing from moment to moment. Working in patterns is basically a practice of resistance. Such practice leads to clogginess. Understanding is not possible and its adherents are never free. The way of combat is not based on personal choice and fancies. Truth in the way of combat is perceived from moment to moment, and only when there is awareness without condemnation, justification, or any form of identification. Jeet Kune favors formlessness so that it can assume all forms, and since it has no style, Jeet Kune fits in with all styles. As a result, Jeet Kune uses all ways and is bound by none, and likewise uses any technique or means which serves its end. In this art, efficiency is anything that scores.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
I like that part where it said, well, I'm paraphrasing where it says Jeet Kune is like formless and how it fits in with all styles. It makes me think like somebody who's a musician, like if you can sing, like you could sing on any song, you can legitimately sing, you can fit in with music. You know, every form of music can necessarily gel. And Jeet Kune, at least the formlessness of it, like it's not bound by anything, so it's like, alright, this is how I fit in with this rhythm or this pattern. Because I have no pattern.
Yes. In this art, efficiency is that anything that scores. I like that. It's kind of like when we spar, like people just to do whatever the hell they want to do. And if you can make it work, then hey, it works.
Well, it's basically being very direct and basically say Jeet Kune is no style at all. You're not bound by no style, by no different style that's out there. Like if you're in a street fight, you're going to do what it takes to survive. Even if it means biting somebody in the neck or poking somebody in the eye. Whatever it takes for you to save your life and go home. It's like not bound by timeouts, it's not bound by rules. None of that. Basically, you want to do what you need to do to get out of the situation that somebody trying to take your life. Because that's the thing that I see with all the styles that's out there. If you notice, all these styles got bound by rules. Because in the competition, they got rules. You can't do this, you can't do that. But Jeet Kune is not made to be ruled over anything. Because it's a freestyle expression. Like, I do have my own style. I don't have to be like any particular style, but when it's coming to fight, I'm going to do what it takes. I don't care if it's dirty, or is it clean. I'm going to do what it takes to save my life or my loved ones. I'm not bound by rules. And Jeet Kune, basically, that's it. That's why I was told people when he come around, they couldn't stand him because he was like doing stuff that like people was like, man, you can't do that. And he was like, why not? Why I can't do it? Who said I can do it? This is not no competition. This is not no tournament. You come to challenge me to fight, okay, I'm gonna take you out in 2 minutes. Not in 10 or 15, 2 minutes. That's why he believes Jeet Kune Do is no style. And that's why I like Jeet Kune Do. That's why I started with Jeet Kune Do actually. Because I like that. Nobody can tell me I can't do this, I can't do this, you're not supposed to do this. Okay, we fighting, hey, be prepared that I'm going to throw all kind of stuff at you, you don't know what's coming. And basically that's what he's saying.
The height of cultivation runs to simplicity. Halfway cultivation runs to ornamentation. It is not difficult to trim and hack off the non-essentials in outward physical structure. However, to shun away to minimize inwardly is another matter.
Some people beliefs, for example, I can even say, some people probably have some experience of growing their hair, for example, and I could cut my hair tomorrow, it wouldn't matter. But if I cut something internally that doesn't necessarily show on the outside, that's what really matters. That's what makes a difference. I mean, that's kind of how I see that. It's like it's the inward journey, it's the inward kind of growth versus outward appearances or material.
Yeah, I like the analyzation. It's almost like, people, oh, I shaved my head, I'm a monk now. It's more than just shaving your head. It's like becoming enlightened. It's not just cutting your hair off, just shaving your head or something outward. It's like an inward transformation, and that is a whole different story.
I saw this movie about the Maori warriors from New Zealand, the indigenous people in New Zealand, and one of their cultural things is tattoo markings. But all the tattoos have significance, and they tell family history and stories and stuff like that. And the warriors wear the markings on their face. And this one kid was completely clean, but he had been doing all the training and traditional studying. And this one guy was like, where are your markings? Where are your tattoos? He's like, I wear mine on the inside. And I was like, that's like the best line ever.
I like that one. Alright. You cannot see a street fight in its totality, observing it from the viewpoint of a boxer, a kung fu man, a karateka, a wrestler, a judo man, and so forth. You can see clearly only when style does not interfere. You then see it without like or dislike. You simply see, and what you see is the whole and not the partial.
That's basically come back to what I said earlier. If you could appreciate life when it's life and death, and you try to look at it as a boxer perspective, and you say, okay, I could go in there and do some jab, uppercut, or whatever. But you thinking that's all it takes when they got you might fighting. He might looking at pulling the knife and shooting something and using his legs, his elbows, or knees. The boxer's in disadvantage. You got to look at it as a whole and don't put no limitation on your view and say, okay, what it takes for me to go home safe to my family. Would it be a boxer fighting like a boxer? Or would it be fighting like a taekwondo guy? Or fighting like a survivor, whatever it takes to survive? That's basically what he's saying to me.
I don't know, it just gave me a thing about times change. You just gotta be aware, see what's happening right now. Not back then, but right now. And as far as what I see or what I hear about, it's just a lot of gun violence, and you see a lot of drive-by shootings,
Yeah.
and just people dying by the gun. You see people going crazy, shooting up people in the malls, shooting police officers shooting civilians. Just some crazy shootings going on. That's what I see. And I'm like, you know, how do you prepare to survive that? You know? It's just that's the world that we live in. I think the artfulness of the martial arts is just something, it's a skill set, it's a passion that you have. It's not about street violence. It's just something you have this passion towards figuring out like what is the most efficient way of survival, with weapons, without weapons. And you just have this passion towards truth, and you seek towards truth through practice. You know, but we live in a world where it's just straight violence, and you gotta face that reality. You know, it's not a game. You know, out there, just people they just don't like you, and then they just come to assassinate you. You know.
Yep.
And you know, you just gotta don't let your ego get in the way when you train. Like don't think more of it than it is. You know, I think that's an important aspect of survival. Last statement for today. There is what is only when there is no comparing, and to live with what is to be peaceful.
I like that. I like that. I could probably, I know I'm talking a lot today, but I like that. The statement itself said a lot. No comparing. It's like, don't try to compare yourself to a master. Don't try to compare yourself to a student or a brother or anybody equal as you, or think you better, or you could get him, or you better than him. You'll never have peace. But you're so busy comparing yourself to other people. And it don't even have to be martial art, you know. There's a lot of people go through life, like, could be a person that just come to my house and he sees stuff that I got, and then he's comparing what I got and what he don't have, and next thing you know, you're going to get the same thing I got. And I go to his house, it's like, I'm looking at my own house, because the dude got the same thing I got, and the same decoration everywhere, because he's so busy living other people's life instead of worrying his own life, and start comparing, and you're never going to have peace, because you're so busy worrying about what you got and what you don't got, and not taking care of what you really have. You take that for granted, and I see that a lot in the household, man. People always worrying about what they say about you, or what they think about you, or what you got and what you don't got, or this person got this car, I don't have this car, or this person got this house and I don't have this house. You're so busy worrying about other people's life that you neglect your own life, and then you're never going to have peace. You're never going to have peace. You're basically saying, don't worry about that, and just enjoy yourself, and just worry about yourself. Live the moment. And that's what I'm thinking related to something to martial art. Don't worry if the person is in a higher level. You just focus on your own growth and just keep working hard. Don't worry if the person bypassed you, or the person got more years than you, or the person younger than you, or stronger than you. If you keep working, you get strong just like that person. And I think that's what he's saying.
I'd like to add to what you just said about basically accepting what is and having peace. Like you said, when you make comparisons, it's like trying to catch up to somebody, you'll never be them. So
Right.
why
even try, for real?
Like, oh, Kobe, you ain't Jordan. Like, well, I'm one of the best that ever played. I can live with that. I ain't Jordan, but I'm good.
Yeah, you know, it's like getting me thinking like us here. I'm here to learn, to improve my lifestyle of living, and prolong my life, keeping away from injury. still healthy to compete with the younger people, because you guys could be like my kids. But I'm not worrying about stuff like that. I'm just worrying about my own growth and maintaining. That's why it hit rock bottom with me, that statement, because if I was to worry about what everybody do, I would like, man, I can't compete with those people. They're younger than me. What am I doing here? They could outdo me anything because they're younger and I'm older. I could get hurt quicker. But you have to like worry about yourself and worry about your own growth and just keep it forward. You know what I'm saying? And try to help each other get to that plateau. That's why I like helping people. Doesn't matter if they're young, old, or can't see or can't hear. If I can help, I help them reach the level they need to reach. Not even sometimes sacrificing my own growth, because I'm not even worried about that really. And that's why that statement is so deep with me, because I think it's talking about me.
I think that statement kind of simply speaks to the meditative aspect of the martial arts. Being in the moment, being here and now, being free of the mind, energy, out of the ego in the present. And when you're able to do that, I think peace comes as a result. The space of peace comes as a result.
Alright, so that's the end of meditation for today. Ended at page 24. Alright, what do you guys want to work